Obviously, you guys have been on patrol for a while, and explore strange new life. You guys are at 0 momentum. So I'm going to give you a quick update on what's been going on in the last 3 weeks in-game. Turn the volume down a bit on that so I can hear myself think. So it has been about 3 weeks since you guys have did what you did last game, and you were at Starbase. I believe it was 234. Let me see. Oh no, it was at Narendra, the planet Narendra, I believe. And you guys left there. Some of your crew left to go do a personal protection mission. In character, you have no idea who that is. At least at that time. Out of character, you guys do know. But basically, they left, and then you were ordered to go on patrol because some bad things were happening in the Romulan Empire. So you guys went on patrol, and over the next couple of weeks, Captain Osprey has been doing stuff. Me and him have been messaging each other, so you guys don't know what he's been up to, but basically just behind the scenes captaining of the ship and talking to admirals, stuff like that, trying to find out what's going on with the infamous allegiance and the Romulans. So this is 3 weeks after that. However, 2 or 3 days ago, you guys stopped at Starbase 233. Your ship was upgraded with a new computer core with an AI, and you guys got a new crew member, a science officer. I'll let Josie introduce her character.
So meta-wise, the character is very excitable. Imagine like a younger YouTube streamer who has no idea what they're doing and is very happy to show you their dirt house in Minecraft.
Okay.
Meta-wise, a Trill who is joined, but the Trill symbiont is fresh out of the pool and has no experiences.
Yep. And the host is young too, right? Well, relatively young, right? Compared to...
we're talking maybe late 20s, early 30s compared to...
Yeah. Oh, that's long. Compared to others, yeah. Alright. So... Alright. And like I said, you guys only got to know her for like the last 2 or 3 days, so it's not like you guys, have any super deep insights about the character. You've known Samson's character probably a little over a month. And I think that's pretty much it. I think the rest of you have known each other mostly for the entirety that you guys have been on the ship. I think you probably know Neelan for like 3 or 4 months. So yeah, we're going to start with what's happening on the Romulan scout ship. We are only going to handle what happened immediately after they were attacked by 28 warbirds. November 6th, 2401. Orbiting Romulus is 28 Romulan warbirds, and they're pretty much ready to deal with whatever happens. However, as soon as Praetor Denatra beamed to Romulus to retake her throne from Empress Sela, the 28 warbirds opened fire. So, let me go to the Roll20 character sheets. Player support characters: Mac, you on the scout ship, you are Lieutenant Vess. Durlock is Lieutenant Mavden. Mavden is a Benzite Marine. Vess is a Trill Security Officer, Intelligence Officer. Let's see, Master Kriebel, you are Cadet. Amy Hampton as Security Cadet. So, the 3 of you, I'm going to move you guys to the scout ship bridge. Get rid of that music because it's starting to annoy the shit out of me. Alright. Let's see. Let's do some... Do we have any Romulan music? Because that's always fun. Ah, there it is. Alright, so... You guys see the disruptors coming towards the ship. As soon as Praetor Denatra beamed down, they detected the scout ship. You guys have in-game about 15 seconds to decide what to do before the ship is destroyed. You know the ship is going to be destroyed. There's no getting around that. Your options pretty much are try to escape to the escape pods, which she told you you could do, or try to fight back, which obviously is suicide, or try to take the ship to warp, which is about a 50-50 chance of succeeding. So I will start with Lieutenant Vess. Do you have any orders that you want to bark out, or do you want to try to do anything really quickly? Mac, you here?
Yeah, I'm here. He's going to get everyone to get into the escape pods.
Alright. So...
But he's...
Yep, go ahead.
He's gonna, calculate the console. The console.
If you stop for a
to
console, that's
into...
going to waste time, just so you know.
Yeah.
So, like, 15 seconds is not a lot of time. You
I know.
Probably glance
He's
at a console. If you do anything other than run to the escape pods, you have to make a roll for it, and it'll be a difficult roll. I know what you want to do.
Okay,
you want to try to do something with the ship so that it prevents them from finding you or something, but, like, this is like... Your characters are about to be insta-killed.
It's not that.
Okay.
It wasn't that. He was gonna just let it warp into the fleet.
Okay.
Let it glide into it.
Okay, so...
Before he gets her.
Fair enough. So, Hampton, Mavden... Santosi's just... I'm just going to say Santosi's already in an escape pod. She's gone. Because I don't do player character NPCs. So, Mavden and Hampton, do you run for the escape pods, or do you also stop to do something else? Anybody?
Did somebody stop to do something else?
Yes, Lieutenant Vess did.
Is he a superior?
No, Vess is the superior. And he has already ordered you to the escape pods.
Well, then I'll grab the person that's not going to the escape pods and go.
Alright, that will also complicate things. Master Kriba, what is Cadet Hampton going to do?
Escape pod.
Okay,
for sure.
thank you. So I need Durlock. If you can access Mavden's character sheet, let me know if you cannot. But to roll a contested roll against Vess with a fitness or daring and security. And I'm assuming Vess is going to resist this, which I'm already going to say that takes away 5 seconds from you guys, so you're down to 10 seconds.
Damn it.
What do
Control and...
Yep. After this roll, you'll probably have 7 seconds. Alright, and then Vess is... Okay, so Vess basically shoves you towards an escape pod. Clearly, whatever Vess is deciding to do, Vess is going to do. You have 7 seconds to get to an escape pod. Also, go ahead, Vess, and make your... What... You said you were going to warp them into the fleet? Warp the ship into the fleet?
Yes.
Okay, so that's going to be control... Or no, daring and con, difficulty 5, complication range 5. Also, I'm going to just say Hampton's in escape pod and gone too, for simplicity's sake.
Yeah, he's gonna give you 3 threat.
Okay.
To do this.
All right. While you're doing that, does Mavden give up and go to the escape pod, or does he continue to try to grab?
Let me look at Mavden's values to see what he would.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And after you do that, you'll be at 5 seconds to go. And at this point, you're pretty much, unless you go to the escape pod now, you'll not make it.
Well, I'm just gonna leave. I'm gonna go.
Okay. So for the sake of simplicity, Mavden is in the escape pod. Did you roll, Mac? Okay.
Yep.
Yep. And do you want to use?
Here
Well, do you have any values for Vess? No, you
I
don't.
haven't written them down.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I have... he's one of the ones that I didn't get a chance to flesh out. Some of them I did, some of them I didn't. With 350 NPCs, it's kind of hard to do everything. But I'll say if you... Let me look at what you rolled. There's a 1. What's that one? Oh, the one's a 5. His security is a 4, so that wouldn't be a focus either way. Okay, so, and you don't have any value, so you can't basically, re-roll it. So you will succeed, I will say, in warping the ship, sort of, kind of, but you won't succeed in. You'll basically have to make another roll to kind of. Actually, no. I'm gonna say you got 3 seconds, and the ship is gonna go to warp, but it's already falling apart around you as the disruptors hit. So.
I'm gonna jump into the last escape pod.
Okay, that's gonna definitely be a roll because you waited so long. Daring and I'm gonna say con as you're trying to maneuver through the ship to get to the escape pod. And the difficulty is 3, the complication range is 5. If you fail, you die.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Instant death.
He's gonna give you 1 threat.
Okay.
Oh!
Oh yeah, you're definitely dead. The ship, as the other escape pod, and I'm just gonna let me wonder what I should do with Kavoral. Let's see. Where's Kavoral's sheet? Did I probably moved it somewhere and do not remember where I moved it. Let's see. Because I want to see if she makes it to the escape pod or not, because that would be interesting. I know I moved it because I was like, oh, I'm going to need this. Oh, there it is. Alright, so she is running. That's 7. Either way is 7. So daring is 7 and con is 1. This is just to see how well she she makes it to the escape pod like at 15 seconds. She doesn't wait for y'all. And Vess is torn to pieces as the scout ship is destroyed, halfway going to warp towards the Romulan warbirds. Alright, so we have 3 individuals. Let me just move you guys to the escape pod page. Alright. Let's see. Mavden, you made it. Hampton made it. And Kavoral made it. Where's Kavoral? There she is. Alright, so 3 escape pods. Alright, so you are fleeing. And, oh yeah, there's actually a 4th one. It's just not on the screen right now, but Santosi also got out. Alright, so board the Bridge of the Legion. Commander Lasco, you are in charge of the bridge, or you're about to be in charge of the bridge. Your captain, Captain Osprey, is aboard the USS John Quincy Adams with Commodore Otreta, having a discussion about you guys' current mission that you guys have been on, patrolling the border for the last 3 weeks. So you're about to be on shift, taking over from Commander Logan Dawson, the what was he? Strategic Operations Officer. All right, so whenever you're ready, you can come aboard the bridge. And let me know.
He will walk on the bridge, as per usual.
And are you able to move your token to the bridge? I know it's sometimes weird, and sometimes people can't do that. So just let me know. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Give me 1 second. I'm typing something. Just forgot to put one of the things in the personnel report. All right. So you welcome to the bridge. Logan Dawson nods to you and stands up with a smile on his face and says, "Commander, Captain Osprey's been over on that ship for 3 hours now. I hope he didn't fall down a Jeffrey's tube." He chuckles.
He won't. He's in meetings.
Of course. I'm glad I'm not well, I want to be a captain one day, but I just don't know if I'm ready for it at this time. And he kind of steps aside and lets you take your position. As for the rest of the bridge crew, Neelan, Lieutenant Carr, etc. I'll let you guys decide if you want to be on the bridge at this time or in some dedicated location like a science lab or engineering or whatever. I'll let you guys do that.
Yeah, I'm on the bridge.
Okay. All right. I will. The Aurelian leaves as Lieutenant Nealon gets to the bridge, takes his position on his takes his seat at his post. And let's see. Does Lieutenant Peck want to be in some auxiliary science console on the bridge, or do you want her like in a science lab or off duty or something else? By the way, it's November 29th, 2401. So 3 weeks after. Josie, you there? I guess something's wrong with her mic. What about Samson? Where's he going to be at?
Is he on duty?
That's up to you. Do you want him to be on duty?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So...
Can you hear me now?
Yep. Samson, you get to the bridge, and the Vulcan at Ops steps up, gives you a nod, says, "Sir," and then walks away as you take your Ops console.
I would say thank you and take the council.
Okay, and Josie, what about your lieutenant?
Peck was unknowingly under a console checking to see if the computer hasn't developed, like, malicious intent towards, the humanoid crew.
So are you on the bridge right now doing that?
Like, on the bridge,
Okay.
like, just, like
in a random
just imagine,
console.
just, like, either inside of the wall or under a console somewhere.
Interesting. So...
I would look over the ops thing, and if I notice there's nothing about maintenance on the bridge, I would just go to her. Hey, what are you doing?
Well, the ship's called the Legion, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, the Legion just got an update regarding our computers. Real interesting here, it's an actual AI, and as an expert in computers and xenobiology, I figured my two sciences would, quote, mesh together. So that way I could better understand the emerging intelligence that is being created before our very eyes. Would you care to watch?
No, thank you. I was just curious what you're doing. There's nothing on the docket about it.
Are you certain? And then she pulls out, maybe 5 stacks of pads and goes through each individual one. She's like, oh, that was at 1,700 hours, not 700.
At that moment, a hologram appears next to you. This hologram does not appear to have any facial features besides the typical kind of humanoid shape. And he, in a male voice, says, "Greetings. If you would like to know anything about me, all you have to do is ask."
Who in the heck are you?
I am the Legion.
You're the ship?
I am.
Interesting.
Do you have any questions about my program?
What is your maximum operating capacity?
He gives you whatever number is like 10 times the size of the emergency command hologram that was on Voyager. So pretty much, a full-time hologram for the whole ship.
Impressive. And I would just look around and see if anybody else notices this hologram just suddenly here.
Yeah, you guys. It has appeared in a few instances before. You guys would have seen it In fact, that was going to be my next question.
Okay.
Every once in a while, the crew would see a hologram appear and just interact with the crew as normal. I'm going to go down the list, starting at the top with the rank, because that's typically how I do stuff. Commander Lasco Zed, how does Zed interact with this AI, who calls himself Legion, by the way?
You would have talked to him a few times, and actually got a copy of his he's programming to see if it's okay
What
and
do
to
you mean?
watch it evolve.
Oh, like you want to...
He will be like keeping a watchful eye on how he evolves
Right.
over time.
Okay, yeah,
He'll be interested in that.
because your character used to be an engineer and an operations officer, so I can see
Yeah.
him kind of being more interested in the technical aspect. Okay, so we'll go down to, let's see, Santoshi's not here, Zukov is not here, and let me know if Nostra does show up, or anyone else, for that matter. How does Lieutenant Carr interact with... And does Lieutenant Carr want to be on the bridge? I don't remember if I asked you that or not.
For now, he's in engineering.
Okay. Well, how has he been getting along with the new AI?
Well, it's been helpful enough. There haven't really been any ship issues, so...
Okay, so
he hasn't really had much reason to necessarily talk to it.
Yeah, similar to Lasco or Zed, more of a technical curiosity, not so much... He doesn't consider him part of the crew, basically. He just considers him like an extension of the computer.
At this point, yeah.
Okay.
Every once in a while, he'll ask it when it was last updated.
Okay, and the AI Legion would say, "I am upgraded every second from the subspace relay stations throughout the Alpha Quadrant and Memory Alpha." So basically, he's in constant communication. It's not like super live, like it's not an instant thing, but he is able to access pretty much all subspace communications that are Federation linked throughout the location, the quadrant, so that he can maintain updated statuses, and he pretty much is able to compute things like that a lot faster. So, for example, if you gave him the trajectory of several starships throughout the quadrant and was like, okay, tell me where they are now, several days or months later, he could pretty much tell you with like a 99.99% accuracy where they would be. But okay, so let's see. What about Lieutenant Peck? Probably, since they were both brought to the ship at the same time, she probably wouldn't, besides the curiosity aspect of it, she probably wouldn't have a whole lot of knowledge about either the crew, the physical crew, or the AI, but it's up to you if you want to kind of delve deeper into, or if you want to have had delved deeper into over the last 3 days into his programming or not.
Yes, the latter.
Okay. And is it similar to the others where it's more of a technological, scientific curiosity, or are you more interested in the fact that this could be another, like I think you said before, an actual life form?
The latter,
okay.
Yes.
So he hasn't demonstrated anything even close to, like, emotion. He's basically got the Doctor from Voyager's kind of holographic nature, but he's got Data's kind of, when Data was first introduced, kind of very robotic personality. He doesn't seem to have like a developed in personality. You guys would also know that you guys can choose an image, like a picture, a celebrity, or you basically get to choose this hologram's appearance. He's appearing right now as like basically what you see on the screen is just kind of like a metallic, holographic, really dark humanoid with no features, but that's pretty much his default setting, and you guys can pick whatever you want. If you want him to be a Klingon, if you want him to be human, if you want him to be Bajoran, it doesn't matter. You can just program it, and or you could just tell him, hey, when you're talking to me, can you look Bajoran because I'm Bajoran, and then he'll be like, yeah, sure. He's pretty much very flexible in that sense. Okay, so let's see. What about Ensign Sampson? I'll go back to Lieutenant Nealon in a moment. But what about Ensign Sampson? Is he more interested in the technical aspects, or is he kind of trying to figure this creature or this hologram out as an individual?
Well, when he hears that he's in constant communication with Starfleet, he'd be like, so let me get this straight. You could activate all the sonic showers at the Starfleet Academy at the same time?
He says, Negative. I only have access to their computational data. I can know when the showers were activated last, but I cannot actually turn them on.
I could have still used that back when I was in the academy.
He says, for your practical jokes. He says, doing quotation marks with his hands.
AIs, you know my record by heart.
Of course.
Huh. Glasgow, don't be doing any practical jokes on the ship.
Not that Zed would find out anyway. What about Lieutenant Nealon? As a science officer, how does he interact with this new holographic AI?
Given that you're a new AI and you don't take on any personal traits, what would be something that you would like to turn yourself into? If you had the option to choose any species, what would it be?
He blinks, which you can tell by the way he blinks, kind of like an eye flutter that lasts maybe a second, that he's accessing the database of the entire Federation in Memory Alpha, and then he replies, I believe most species have very interesting and advantageous properties. However, there are a few that I can see, at least from the appearance, why they would be more appealing to humanoids like yourself. I would need more data on these life forms as well as more experience with them to give you a proper answer. However, or he says, for I have only been alive technically for about 3 days.
I see. And what is your primary purpose? What is your primary function?
To serve the ship, the Starfleet crew aboard it, and the Federation at large.
Thank you. That'll be all.
Very well, Lieutenant. And then he goes back to Lieutenant Peck to see if she has any additional questions or prompts or anything for him. I'm guessing that's a no. Alright. If nobody else has anything for the hologram, then we will go ahead to, after about an hour of you guys being on the bridge, operations, you get a hail from the USS John Quincy Adams, which is an Excelsior class vessel, actually one of the last ones still in use, and it is the ship that transported Commodore Otreda to this location, and the ship where Captain Osprey is currently having a talk with the Commodore.
Okay, what was the name of the ship again?
The John Quincy Adams.
Captain, we have a hail from the John Quincy Adams.
Put it on screen.
Okay, I'll put it on screen.
Alright. Hopefully, I think I do have her picture here. Let me grab it. There. Nope. Of course, that's not the right one. Don't tell me. Too many folders. So I'm just gonna throw it up there. Commodore Otreda, who some of you met and knew, appears on screen, and she says, Commander Zed, I am still in a meeting with your captain. However, I would like to touch base with you as well. How is your ship, and how are you dealing with your new AI?
It's been interesting. And the crew's relatively fun.
That is good to hear. We have a mission for you. Your patrol mission is currently being permanently completed. You will go on an actual exploration mission now. There is some sort of structure that has appeared overnight in a location near the Shackleton Expanse, which is where you will be investigating further in the future. But for now, we just want you to investigate this structure. It is approximately 3 hours away at high warp. We want you to investigate it and find out what it is. So far, our long-range scans have told us that it is near the star Idroso 150, and we do not know how it got there. It is a massive structure. It cannot have just been... It is bigger than even a planet. It is bigger than an infamous dreadnought. It cannot have been just transported there, but it has just appeared. We want you to investigate it. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
Additionally, some information that you might want to know. Praetor Denatra's patriots have seized control of the Romulan government and military from Empress Sela, and she is now on the run with a small fleet of Tau Shiar and Riemann ships. She will probably be absorbed into the infamous allegiance. That is terrible for us, because that means 2 of our enemies will have joined forces, but it is good for Romulus, because now their true leader is in command of their forces. That means no war with Romulus, and that means that Romulus as a whole, their territories will not be subsumed into the infamous allegiance. For Denatra has denounced the imperial decree made by Sela. I am also sending you my new aide, Lieutenant Commander Vamar. He'll be delivering more sensitive military orders in person. Although it will be up to you, Commander Zed, how you implement those orders and who goes on that mission. That is all.
Yeah.
Do you
Yes,
have any
sir.
questions?
No, sir.
Great. Go and investigate this structure. I will be with Captain Osprey. For the foreseeable future, we are discussing long-term plans involving your ship. John Quincy Adams out. And then her face disappears from the screen. So, Lieutenant Nealon, I don't know how much you remember out of character about the NPC contacts that you sent me, but Lieutenant Commander Vamar is one that you sent me. I believe he is I think he's a Bolian rival, if I remember correctly, so just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
For roleplay purposes going forward. Alright, so she said that Vamar will be beaming over shortly, so Commander Zed, what are your orders?
He looks to his science-minded people. Can you get me the more information, or at least information on what they found out about the structure?
Yep, so...
Aye,
Sorry, go ahead.
aye, sir.
Alright, so it doesn't take much. It's not a roll. You just glance down at your console and you discover that the structure... I'm gonna probably have to actually look it up on... the structure appears to be, with long-range scans, made at least on the outside, completely of various minerals and rocks, and it doesn't seem. It basically looks like a planet, but it's not a ball. It's basically very long, and more or less flat. So similar to the name of the episode, think of a wall, long. And it's strangely enough near the star Idroso at 150. It is along what would be the border of the Shackleton Expanse. But let me see while you guys are. Is there anything else that you want to? Any other orders that you want to give, Commander Zed?
He's just curious on what this structure is. structure is. So he's like, can these science-minded people actually get together to figure this out?
Well, with the long-range scans, you don't get much. You're going to have to actually physically go to it to get anything
Yeah.
additional.
He has to wait till the person gets beamed across to start
Right.
moving.
So you're just going to... Okay. So transporter chief calls you from the transporter room. Let me find their character sheet. He says, "This is Chief Tharn in Transporter Room 1. I've been informed to take on Lieutenant Commander Vamar. His transport has been successful. Where would you like him directed?"
Up to the bridge.
"Yes, sir. He's on the way now. Tharn out." And then the communication is cut. And then you get a...
Lieutenant Neelan is just going to put his hand in his face, a big old face palm, and just shake his head a little bit. Oh, God. I hope it's not Zax Vamar.
Who?
Well, he was my rival in Starfleet Academy, and yeah, he's kind of a piece of work. I mean, I'm sure you guys will get along with him just fine, but not me.
I don't
Why
know.
is that?
Well, to be quite frank, he stole my girl. And, yeah, he's been a rival. He's been a thorn in my side ever since we met in Starfleet Academy. I actually requested to be far, far away from him for the remainder of my stay, but apparently that's not going to happen. Oh well.
I'm wondering why they assigned him to this ship.
Probably just normal Starfleet protocol, but you never know.
Obviously, somebody probably saw this as an advantage to throw you off your game.
You're probably right, Captain.
In other news, we better start moving towards the structure.
Aye, sir. Would you like me to do continual long-distance scans until we arrive?
Yes.
Will do.
Alright. So the pilot, who is not a player character, well, the pilot's going to wait to be given the direct order because the pilot needs like speed and all this other stuff. So whenever you're ready, Commander Zed, go ahead and do that. I'm still making a page for the other thing.
He goes, let's go high warp to the structure.
Yes, Commander. And gotta go back to the page so I can see who the pilot is because I already forgot. Oh yeah. The pilot, and the new main pilot, Ensign Damal, looks over his shoulder and says, "Aye, sir. Plotting course." Alright, and the ship goes to warp. Alright.
He wants to test the engines out.
I mean, the engines have been the same pretty much the whole time. It's the AI that
Yeah.
was upgraded. What speed
Yeah.
are you going?
He said high warp.
Was that like 9.9 or is that like warp 8? Like, what's high warp to Zed?
He's gonna go 8.8.
Okay. Neelan, if you want to give me a reason and science scan, the difficulty is because of the distance you still got to go, and because of other things, the difficulty is 4. So if someone wants to roll for the ship, it's going to be sensor science, and also Lieutenant Peck, you can also assist with reason and science.
All right. I got a 19 and a 4.
So I'm assuming the 4 is a success, but the 19 isn't. I'm gonna...
Yep.
Alright. And let me know what you guys get for the other rolls. So far it's 1 success, difficulty was 4. Are you rolling Peck or no? In fact, Ops, you can roll too, if you want. I don't see any rolls. I mean, except for the ship roll, but I'm waiting for the other 2.
Yeah.
Are you guys even there, or?
Hello?
I find it hard to...
I'm
Rosie
here, but
Durlock?
Dukov has arrived.
Hello. Hello, Nostra.
Sorry, I popped out for a hot second.
Okay. So if you want to roll reason and science, just roll 1 dice to assist the ship and Lieutenant Nealon on the scan. Also Ops can whenever Durlock gets back.
Sorry about that.
I'm here. Did you call me? I didn't hear you.
Sorry, I said Ops
Yeah, he
can
did.
roll too, but
Yeah.
yeah, if you want to roll reason and science to assist, you can. Pretty much, I mean...
Sorry, I was trying to wrestle a dog from trying to stop them from eating chocolate.
I'm sorry for being late. Kind of got some pretty bad traffic to deal with.
Understandable. Right now they're just heading towards a scientific discovery, hopefully. Let's see. So we got 1, 2, 3. What did I say difficulty was? 4? I think I said it was 4.
I believe so.
yes.
Yep.
Alright, so you don't get any additional information except for the information that you have already got. In fact, some of your scans seem to be bounced back towards you as if the sensor beams are reaching out and then being bounced back at you with no information. Kind of like, you know, shining a light on a frickin', you know, mirror. That's when, probably like less than 5 minutes later, go scroll, so much scrolling to find the character sheet for Vimar as he enters the bridge, and he kind of looks around and says, Commander Zed, reporting as ordered. I have your orders, sir.
Ah. Thank you.
Would you
You're more than welcome to stay on the bridge.
Would you like me to deliver your orders here or in private, sir?
He thinks about it, then he's like, they're delivered in he's thinking, he said, if they're delivered in person, it must be important. So he goes to... Let's go in private, just to be on the safe side.
Roger that. And he waits for you to head towards the ready room and follows you.
Yeah. He goes to the ready room.
Okay.
He goes...
He says, once he gets inside, he says, Commander, while Captain Osprey is speaking with Commodore Otreda aboard the John Quincy Adams, I have been ordered to deliver a message, an order similar to the one that he received. You are to, let's see, how many player characters do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You are ordered to allow 6 Marines a shuttle equipped with this device, and he holds up like a small handheld device of unknown origin. It looks Federation, but it also kind of looks like a prototype, like it could fall apart at any point. He says, this device will confuse the Romulans and make them believe that the shuttle that they have is a Romulan shuttle. They are to go into Romulan space and to an orbital prison station and rescue some Federation citizens. This is a direct order from Commodore Otreda.
Okay, I have to go and get, 6 Marines. He goes back out to out to see his main Marine guy.
Who's his Armstrong?
Yeah, Armstrong.
Okay.
He goes, Armstrong, can you get 6 Marines for a suicide mission?
Do you say suicide mission?
On the bridge.
In front of everybody and to the Marine commander, who will definitely not do that.
You go, can you get 6 Marines ready?
Yes, sir, but for what exactly?
You go, let's go into the ready room.
Okay, and he follows you to the ready room, and as he does, another security officer takes over the security station. Let's see, that's gonna, oh my god, so many folders. That's gonna be, you know what, let's say Ship's Armor, Lieutenant Fiona Mazette.
He'll let him know about Starfleet's,
The
mission about sending people to go and rescue civilians, and they want to volunteer 6 Marines to do that.
He takes a data pad from the Bolian, Vamar, and looks at it, and he says, the planet Balduck. He looks over to Commander Zed and he says, sir, with all due respect, Balduck is a shithole, and it's not... He kind of thinks for a moment, and he says, going there to rescue anybody is a bad idea. The Klingons couldn't even hold on to it once the Pact Wars started, and now the Romulans are thinking about destroying the whole entire civilization outright because of the rebellion. I highly recommend we take more than 6 Marines or don't do this at all. I don't know if we're going to come back from this one. But it is your choice, of
I
course.
agree. I agree. He goes, gets up and he goes, yeah, show him the device that will be able to get him into the sector.
Vamar holds up the device and says, oh, sorry, go ahead.
He goes, assign, how many units, how many Marines do you think it will take to get into that facility to rescue the...
Well, Commander, if our intelligence is correct regarding what is actually there, this entire crew of 350 people couldn't do it. The Balduck warriors are one of the Klingons' most ancient enemies, and they're very skilled in combat. They make the Jem'Hadar look like children. So getting onto that prison complex with a bunch of Balduck warrior prisoners and trying to escape with their lives, even with 350 Marines, is, well, again, I wouldn't recommend it. A stealth mission might work, but I still don't think this is worth the risk. Lieutenant Commander Vermar says, well, it's not up to you, Major. And he turns back to Commander Zed. He says, these are orders directly from the Commodore.
Yes, they are. We can't disobey orders.
The Major says, 6 Marines. Well, I'm going to be one of them. I'm not letting my men go in and die for no reason. For all we know, Lieutenant Mavden is dead. And he says, permission to be dismissed while I go select my men for the meat grinder.
Yep. Dismissed.
He nods and heads out. Lieutenant Commander Vamar looks over to Commander Zed and says, "If you don't need me, sir, I have someone that I would like to speak to before retiring for the night or for the day."
Yeah, go ahead. And he walks back out into the breach.
Okay.
Back out onto the seat. Captain.
He exits and walks over, kind of walks up the steps near Lieutenant Nealon and says, "Ah, Nealon, I see you've finally made it to the bridge of a starship. It's about time."
Yes, it is. How have you been, Zax?
I've been alright. This new gig with the Admiral is interesting, to say the least. But if this new investigation of this structure turns up anything interesting, then I'll be happy. I'm sure you are, being the science nerd that you are.
Yeah, you got that right. It is something definitely up my alley for sure.
Well, I'm gonna head to the mess hall when you get off shift. If you want to meet there, maybe we'll grab a drink, celebrate whatever weird thing we've encountered, and talk about old times.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan. I'll talk to you later.
He just nods and says, "All right," and then heads out the door. All right. So, does anyone want to do anything on the bridge before we head to the escape pod people that have been in space for 3 weeks?
Okay. Actress looks at the security officer and she says, "Holy shit, did he just say suicide mission?"
Alright, so with the escape pods, move this up here. Actually, check what this is. Okay, that's nothing. It's actually, let's see, copy that one because there's actually 4 escape pods. You guys have been in space for we'll just say 5 days. And there's escape pods aren't designed to do crazy maneuvers or go to warp or any of this other crap. So when the Romulan warbird approaches and locks onto a tractor beam, there's very little that you can do. Your distress call, which goes out, I'm assuming you put it on Starfleet channels, or do you put it on all channels?
Starfleet.
Okay. But yeah, your distress call, because of the nature of space and where you guys are deep in Romulan territory, it will still be a few weeks before it gets to anyone that will hear it. And you guys have been in the escape pods at this point in time for about 5 days. And that's when the tractor beam locks on and begins pulling you in to the bow of the ship, or the belly of the ship? The hull of the ship. It pulls you into the ship. Is there anything that you guys want to try to do to try to escape, or are you just going to go along with it to see what happens?
What ship is it?
It is a Dederidex class warbird.
Well, there's not much we can do.
And by the way, you guys can communicate over comms with each other, so if you want to do that.
I'd just communicate. Well, everybody brace yourselves. We're about to be captives.
Have there been any food or water rations aboard these escape pods?
Well, they're Romulan, so they probably have some Romulan food, probably something that's not very tasty to humans and other Federation species. And probably not much, maybe, and you would also find suicide capsules if you decide you want to take one to take the easy way out. But whatever you do find, it's not going to last more than a week on the escape pod. It's you're definitely going to be running out pretty soon.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that Hampton's not passed out from.
Oh no,
insufficient.
It would make no sense for Romulans to have escape pods on their ships just for them to starve to death. So yeah, you can get some a can of beans or something, and yeah. All right. So who wants a marine? Does anybody? If nobody does, then we'll just skip that whole story arc. But if someone wants the Marines to play a Marine, let me know.
Sure, I'll play a Cranator.
Yeah, I'll totally play Marine.
All right,
I've
Mac.
got one picked out.
Okay,
as
Mac.
well.
Once again, starting with rank because that's the easiest way. Which Marine do you want? And you can't have the major.
No, I won't. Who's a cool? Um, is she? Oh, I totally want to play as the Odessa.
Wait, who?
DHUS.
Hold on, I'm
Okay.
looking.
It's Lance Corporal
Oh, the
Petty.
Barzan. Yeah, I know them by their species. I only see race.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Barzan. Yeah.
Ofa Deuce or Dus or Zus. I don't know.
Else.
You can pronounce it however you want. It's probably not even written like that in my notebook. All right. So Lance Corporal Dus is Mac. Um,
Yeah, we totally need her for this mission.
because of all the stealth and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'll make it so only you can. Where's your character sheet? Or where's your... Oh, there it is. So that you can control the character sheet. Alright, and going by rank again, we don't have any lieutenant commanders, I don't think. So, Lieutenant Carr, which one did you want?
I grabbed Second Lieutenant Sabra Cassell.
Sabra Cassell, okay.
Sabra Cassell.
Do you have... Oh, yeah, you do. Okay, so I'll just make it so that you can... And only you can mess with that character sheet. Alright, and Josie, which one did you want?
I'll take Tan.
Private Tan. Alright, I will again change it so that only you guys can, or so only you can mess with that character sheet. Alright, so that's 3 Marines. Anybody else?
I'll play a Marine. I'm kidding. I already am one.
Yes, but you're not in a great place, so it's up to you if you want to play another one.
No, I'm not.
What was that?
Last thing I said was no, I'm not in a good place.
Alright, anybody else want to play a Marine? Or another Marine? Alright, if that's it, if nobody else wants to, then there are 3 player character Marines. The Major, which is going to obviously be played by me, and then 2 randos. Let's see, we have a lieutenant, so we definitely don't need any more officers. Gonna have to bring... Let's see, you brought Lance Corporal. I'm gonna bring Sergeant Webb and another Private Vanza. And that's just... Actually, you know what? Let me look at their character sheets as well. Evasive action, ground vehicles, infiltration. And then Webb was... yeah, I guess all these could be useful. Alright. Alright. So, you guys leave the ship on a shuttle. Let me find the... Where is it? There we go. You guys leave the ship on a shuttle. It's the SC4, which now is in existence since it's 2401. And you head towards Balduck, the conquered world that used to be in the Klingon Empire, but is now in the Romulan Empire or Romulan Republic. And just to make it clear, it's an orbital prison you're going to. So it's basically a space station that orbits this planet, and it's a prison. So you're going to the orbital prison. All right. So back on the bridge. You guys are about a little more than a light year away from this structure. It's just, as far as you could tell, just looking at your console, just the blurry images that you're getting from the long-range scans, it's just a long, and eventually I will be moving you guys to a page that shows you a picture of it. It's not, it doesn't look exactly like that. It's more kind of curved. Think of like a space version of the Wall of China. You know, it's curved. It's bigger and smaller in different places. It's not completely uniform, but it is basically it looks like a wall. Like just looking at it, you're like, that's a wall. However, can we get another scan, because this actually may affect something. So who wants to run? Neelan, do you want to run the scan again?
Sure.
Alright, it'll be another reason and science. Difficulty is reduced to 3 because you're closer, but it's still, for some reason, whenever you send out a scan, you still get that bounce back effect, but this may, if you get 3 successes, this may give you more information. So, reason and science, and if someone...
I got 1 and a 5.
Okay, so
and the Legion rolls what?
Sensors and science. So, you're already at 3 successes, and if anyone... You're at 4 now. If Peck wants to assist, or Ops, Samson, you can, either way. If not, that's fine too.
I'll assist. What am I rolling?
Reason and science.
How are we with momentum?
I do not know, because I'm not keeping track of momentum.
From what my recollection is we have 4.
Alright, I am going to spend a value on this, precise to a fault.
Okay. Wait, you're spending you're spending a determination? Is that what
yes,
saying?
sir.
Okay, so, and I think I've told you this before, if you want, this is like your daily, like this is like, I'm about to die, I need to do this, and to get automatically 2 successes. You already have 5 successes, the difficulty was 3, so are you sure you want to do that? And also you can't do it because you're also assisting, so you're only rolling 1 dice, so you don't use that anyway for that.
My apologies, you're right.
Yeah, no problem. Just remember, using a I mean, you could always call upon a value and say, hey, I'm doing this for this reason because of this value, but actually spending a determination is like a big deal. So I just want to make sure you can only do that once per game.
Okay. Oh, so they're not synonymous with one another. Got it.
Yeah, the values are like abstract things that you use to trigger the determination. The determination, you get 1 per game. You can then challenge a value to get another determination, but these are things that like you don't get a whole lot of, so you don't want to spend it unless you know for sure that you want to do it. Okay, so I see you rolled, so you guys are at 6 total, so you guys plus 3 momentum. So what does that put you at? Because you were at
9.
How much momentum? Who's keeping track? First of all, we need a momentum person. Who's keeping track of momentum?
I've been trying, but I'm feverish, so it's like...
Yeah, no problem. It's got to be someone on roll 20.
Okay, let's see, so...
Because they
1, 2, 3.
So, and plus
and then
3, so that should be 6, right? Or
yes.
Did you have 4?
Yes.
Okay.
No, that is 3 momentum plus additional 3, so that's a total of 6.
Okay. Alright. So, you're... Hold on, someone's... Yeah. Okay. So... Anyway. So, you are scanning, and you're a lot closer. You're using different, variations of sensor bandwidth or whatever to try to get more information. I'll actually go ahead and show you vaguely what this thing looks like. Once again, think it's a lot... The scale is even off, so that's your ship in scale to this. Your ship is actually way smaller than that. It's just, if I did it any smaller, you wouldn't be able to see your ship. But this thing is, it seems to be made out of like rock, normal stuff like granite and other things. But it's longer, and it's taller, and it's more curved, and it's flatter on one side. It literally is, as far as your sensors can tell, it's a rock wall, and it seems to be almost it seems to be kind of, it's not orbiting this the sun Idroso 150. It's not. You can tell it's stationary. It's a stationary rock wall, and it's stationary and it's kind of, I would say, several thousand kilometers away from the sun, but it's clearly there, blocking the sun. Like, you could see the sun on the other side of it. If this rock wall was not there on your view screen, you'd be blinded by the sun. Like, that's how close to the sun this thing is. So, as far as your sensors can tell, you're not able to penetrate the rock to see if there's anything in it or whatever. You're only able to tell that it's definitely made of rock, some sort. Now, as a science officer, you made a successful roll, so you are able to ask a free question if you would like. That has something to do with what your scanners picked up.
Does it have life on the inside of it?
Like I said, your sensors can't penetrate the outside of it. You can tell that there are various types of minerals and ores, not ores, minerals and rocks, rock. It seems to be different kinds. You aren't detecting like any bacteria or any kind of life on the outside. That doesn't obviously mean that there isn't on the inside, but your guess at this stage would be no. But again, there's no way for your sensors to kind of pick that up one way or the other. But an estimated guess would be no. Do you have any other questions?
Okay. Would I be able to use my my Betazoid powers to see if there is life?
Do you have telepathy or empathy or both?
I think it's both. Hold on, let me check my character sheet.
Yeah, either way, you would need to roll because of the distance involved. But yeah, let me know which one you got.
Empathy.
Okay. No, you're not really feeling anything at the moment. You can roll a insight and medicine, but I guess it would be a scaled difficulty. So if you got one success, you might get a little bit of information. It might not be about the rock itself, the wall itself. It could be about, crew members or whatever, or other life forms nearby. But it would give you something. If you got 5 successes, then you would know everything around your vicinity. The rock wall included.
All right. Can I use my focus on heavy reliance on Betazoid empathy?
Sure.
All right.
You guys do have a bunch of momentum too.
I got a yeah. Let me buy 2 dice. I got 2 8s.
Okay, so roll 2 more times, and you guys are down to 4 momentum.
A 5 and a 1.
Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. So you are sensing. Well, if there's anything. So let's start with the crew because that's the easiest one. Is there any of the player characters that want to give Neelan any insight into your emotions? Feel free to say no if you don't want to.
So, Peck is very excitable, but also very nervous. Like I said, like a 15-year-old kid's first Minecraft streaming video.
Anybody else on the bridge or on the ship, since it is a more wide-ranged? It could be Zukov, Car.
Basically,
Go ahead.
Zed is just basically. He's just been tired because he's been doing other things, doing the command work for since the captain's not been on the ship.
It's only been a few hours. You haven't been doing this for weeks. He's only been a few hours.
He's just been tired. Because he's been running around, making sure the ship's okay. And the crew.
In fact, that's when your father decides to make an appearance and look, and as you glance over, you see he's sitting in Logan, like where Dawson is sitting. He's like sitting kind of half inside of him because your father's non-corporeal, so and only you can see him at the moment. But he looks over and he's like, "Hey man, don't worry about it. Whatever's going on, we'll handle it. Trust me." And that's when the hologram appears and says, "I agree with your father. I believe everything will be just all right."
He takes this. He's like, wait a minute.
And I'll also say, Neelan, you sense for like a fraction of a second before it's gone, emotion coming out of the AI for like less than a millisecond, and then it's gone. Is there any other player?
Ooh, that's weird.
Yep. Is there any other player characters that would like to relay any emotion that may be relevant to anything? Yeah, his prophet dad is complicated. Alright. If not, then we will continue towards the outer sphere. And just as far as NPCs go, the worst thing you probably sense is like a bunch of nervousness or even fear of what they're looking at, as far as like this rock wall. In fact, your guys' new counselor that you picked up from the starbase, the Zaranite Lieutenant Akaki Lafrite, which is definitely not a randomized word that I stole from Roll20, looks over to Commander Zed and says, "I think I should go to my office. I have a feeling we're going to need to register some therapy appointments."
Yeah.
Especially since...
And...
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. And he's continued to looking back and forth between the AI and his father.
He says, "Are you okay, Commander?"
He's so confused on how he still sees the AI can see his father.
Your father looks between you and the AI and just shakes his head and disappears. Then the AI disappears himself. The counselor says, "Commander, you seem distracted." Perhaps we should make an appointment.
Everything's gonna be okay.
Maybe we should make an appointment for you.
I'm really confused.
Why are you confused?
Okay, he goes, "Oh yeah, what do we know about the?" He goes, "Oh, what do we know about that?"
Are you talking about the structure?
Lieutenant Nealon? Yeah, okay. He goes, "Lieutenant Nealon."
The counselor leaves then, since you're clearly not going to talk to him. So let me finish giving him the information regarding his empathy. So yeah, you get some crew members that might be a bit afraid, a bit nervous, scared of what they're seeing out the window or on their sensors. You don't get anything from the crew that's overtly horrible, so I'll go ahead and put that there. There's no spies on this ship, thankfully, at least not anymore. As far as further out, you do sense... And are you guys still at warp, or did you guys stop a light year away from this thing?
I would have gave the order to stop a light year away.
Okay, so you do sense briefly, you sense life and emotion, more like instinct, coming from the direction of the rock wall and the sun. You're not able to tell which it's coming from, or if it's some kind of spaceborne creature that's out there latched on to one of those two things. But the emotion and the instinct, the life sense is brief, and then it's gone. So yeah, that's what you sense.
Captain, for a brief second, I thought I sensed life. More like instinct.
Interesting.
So what are your
And
orders?
Captain,
Oh, sorry.
and Captain, may I have a word with you in private?
Yeah, get closer to the structure. So he goes into the ready room.
Okay. As you go to the ready room, Mr. Dawson takes the command seat and orders Ensign Damal to continue on course. Oh, come on, really?
Over.
I don't know why it did that.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Well, hopefully it doesn't do that again.
So either Comcast wanted to spite us, or World War III just happened.
No, it happens every time we're on
Yeah.
live stream. For some reason. All right. So you're in the ready room with Neelan. Logan Dawson takes the seat, orders Ensign Damal to resume course. So go ahead.
Captain, for a brief second, I could have swore that I felt emotion from the AI on the ship. It could have been nothing, but I just figured I would let you know, because AI is not supposed to have emotion.
Very interesting.
And the reason why I came in here to talk to you about it is I didn't want to worry the rest of the crew.
I might end up getting Lieutenant Carl to look into the AI itself, just to check.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. He hits the button to call Lieutenant Carl up to his the ready room.
Acknowledged, I'll be right on my way.
Speaking of Lieutenant Carr, as you're leaving engineering and heading through the corridors to the bridge, that same sound that your implant has been hearing for the last pretty much month now, you begin to hear it again. So I just want to also make sure that let me turn this off. Okay, that you understand what I'm saying, because I don't want you to think it sounds exactly the same. It doesn't. So the first time you heard it, you're and I don't remember if we discussed this in character or not, but out of character, it was because time had been reversed. The second time, and then the times after that you heard it, it was a distorted version of that, kind of like a corruption in your ear implant that kind of basically it's like your implant was affected by that reversal of time, and now you kind of hear it a lot. It's like scratching a CD and then now you hear skips, kind of like that. This time you hear it, it sounds more similar to the first time you hear it, but it's slightly different. It seems more organic, less like technology and more like reality around you is shifting on its own accord. You also, and this is for everybody on the ship, not just Lieutenant Carr, you all see a slight fade in front of you, like the lights are overexposed. There's your vision's blurry, and then all of a sudden, Carr, Lasco, Zed, Neelan, everyone, you're back on the bridge, and presumably confused.
Hey, as soon as I noticed that, I'd run a scan specifically looking for temporal distortions.
Alright, roll reason and science. Difficulty is 4. Anyone can assist. The ship's computer is actually going to assist on this. So
I'll assist.
okay. So because I want a player character to do this, who wants to roll for the ship? And because I want to show you something. Anybody?
Car can roll for the ship.
Okay,
Just
so
go find that sheet.
yeah, it's down at the bottom. Ships. Let me know when you get it open.
Lasgo's super confused on how.
And
Neil.
Lasco, remind me that your dad needs to react to this because I'm gonna forget. So scroll down, Master Kriebel, to where it says talents, and where it says AI. Any computer assists, which you're about to do, you can re-roll 1d20. So click on computers, which is now a 14, by the way, and then click on science, and then roll 1 dice, and you can pretty much re-roll that d20 whenever you need to. All right. So, Samson, you rolled for the science, right? Or the
No, I was waiting until you were done with them because I wanted to buy a dice with momentum.
Fair enough.
And I got a 9.
Okay. So
for the assist.
We got 2, 3, 4. That's 4. And by the way, where are you guys at momentum? Are y'all keeping track?
We should have 3, I think.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
3.
Okay, make sure y'all type it in Roll20. Alright, so you guys have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 successes so far. That's what you need. Does anybody else want to assist before I give you basically what you need? Or the answer, basically? No? Okay. So you run that scan, and you already find sensor data indicating you have already been here, and you have already scanned this structure, which you are heading towards. But as far as you're concerned, as far as your memories are concerned, you have not been there to the structure yet. You're still on your way there, probably 5 or 10 minutes out. But as far as the computers are concerned, you have already been there, scanned it, and then now you're back to 1 light year away. That is when the AI appears and says, "Excuse me. Sensor records and visual imaging data indicate the USS Legion has already investigated the structure. Additionally, the ship's chronometer is 5 hours ahead of where it should be. I do not detect any discrepancy within my memory banks."
Lasgo goes by the prophets. What the heck is going on?
Car will quickly check at his console and go, "Yep, that's right. Our chronometer is off."
And plus, you said remind you about his dad.
Yeah. Okay.
That's me trying to remember.
So Traveler reappears. We need to find a picture from him, by the way. And looks. This is in 2 years, and we haven't had a picture. But basically, he looks over to you and he says, "Ugh, not again. I hate when they mess with time."
Wait, who's messing with time?
Oh, well, I have no idea. They could be anybody. Could be the Prophets, the Pirates, Q. Could be anyone. Could be the infamous Allegiance. But either way, it sucks. Now we've got to figure out what's going on.
He goes, "Oh, great. Not one of the gods, please, no." He goes and sits in his chair.
This feels kind of different. This feels different than just manipulation. I can't explain it. It just feels different.
He goes, "Can we find out anything else about this damn this structure?"
Ensign Damal looks over his shoulder and says, "Sir, we're on our way to it now. We'll be there in about 5 minutes."
Okay.
That's when the doors open and Lieutenant Commander Vamar enters. And he says, "What was that?"
Just somebody playing a game with us.
Well, I don't like it. We need to figure out a way to not let that happen again. Any ideas?
Find out whoever it is doing it to us.
The AI wants... Sorry, someone was going to say something.
Yeah, maybe if we have a small polaron burst on our deflector dish, maybe that will stop the sequence of events that's happening right now.
Vamar just looks over to the chief engineer. That's obviously his job.
Chief?
Yeah, we can do that.
The AI reappears. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, this is just Peck just mumbling fascinating.
The AI reappears and says, "May I also suggest somebody design and apply neural stimulants which may prevent further memory tampering."
How experimental is that?
Very. It has never been done before. Except for once. Sorry, now I actually have to look up Memory Alpha to see if it's been done before. I remember...
No, this could be like a weird temporal thing where like we already tried it
that's
and
what
we just don't remember it.
Yeah, that's actually what I was thinking. Okay, neural... What was it? Stimulant... If it's in here.
Yeah, it's just blinking rapidly at this point.
Okay, I know I've seen it in here somewhere.
You mean a cortical stimulant?
No, neural stimulator. That's what it was. Okay, medical instrument used to stimulate areas of the brain. This is the one. No, that's... I mean, I guess it is a cortical stimulator. It's just a different term for it. Basically, yeah, it's to stimulate the brain, certain parts of the brain, to make it so that it's harder to manipulate your memory. Attempted to Tom Paris and neuroscience unconscious to the effects of warp 10. Huh, what a coincidence. It's a non... okay, so yeah, basically, it's the neural stimulant itself is he says the neural stimulant itself is relatively easy to apply. It is correctly identifying and regulating the correct neural processors and quantum interference signals to be able to prevent further tampering from whatever is causing this anomaly.
And I would suggest that you've done in previous seasons in the previous universe that you did do something to prevent the gods messing with the minds of the old characters, including Lasgo. So would he still have memory?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he'll have memory of it, but it's up to him to kind of figure out what to do, because I don't remember any of it. It's been so long, so you'll have to kind of and just so you know, if you need any medical, you've got medical NPCs, but most of this stuff can be done through science and engineering.
He goes, someone is clearly tampering with us, because I do remember we were here.
Ensign Damal announces, 1 minute to destination.
Okay, can somebody get that stimulant for everyone?
Yep, you'll have to go to a science lab or a sick bay to get the stimulant, and to do the deflector stuff, you'll have to go down to deflector control. It will probably take more than a minute to do.
Yeah, he's gonna get his scientist to go and get the stimulant, and his engineer to go and do the deflector.
Alright. Chief Engineer, do you want any assistance from any of the NPCs or your operations officer, who is currently, I think, not here?
Yeah. Car will take assistance. Let me... because Ustam needs to be back on the bridge to cover while he's away.
Okay.
So... what the heck? He'll just call the AI. It sounds like the AI can help him right away.
Okay. And who wants to take on the science-y aspect of the neurostimulants? Sam?
I'll do that.
Okay, Neelan, and then Lieutenant Peck, you want to assist?
Sure thing.
Okay. So I will have...
Would you like to add a complication, though?
What do you mean?
Well, I have the value Peck matters more than me, and you're having an experimental drug that affects the ability to encode memories.
That's true. Well, does it affect encoding memories, or does it just stimulate that part of the brain to prevent outside tampering, so to speak?
This is... you said it was pretty much experimental.
Well, the technology exists. It's just you guys have to fix it to mess with it. What is the word I'm looking for? When you have to change something slightly, you have to do that in a way to where the device doesn't just stimulate your brain, but also kind of gives you the ability to not allow outside interference into your brain, if that makes any sense. So as far as your Trill Symbiont is concerned, you can also change the neurostimulant device to do that, so that it doesn't negatively affect. So basically, yeah, if you do roll a complication, it will affect you or your symbiont. But if you don't roll a complication, then that's better. So yeah, that complication can happen, but it's not like a sure thing.
And I'm to roll control reason science.
Okay, so for those of you doing the
is that a yes sir?
For those of you doing the neurostimulant, it is going to be science and insight. I'll let you, if you want to do control, you can, but insight is the main thing because you're kind of not redesigning. What is that? I'm about
modifying.
Yeah, there's another word I'm trying to think of.
Tweaking, fine-tuning, adjusting.
Yeah, basically all of those things. You're trying to do that, so you can use control for fine motor skills if you want. But definitely science, and then you'll be rolling 1 dice to assist, and like you said, if you get a complication, that will complicate your symbiont. And then for the engineering thing, it'll be insights. I'll allow control too, although again insight is more because you're modifying or altering or fine-tuning the deflector to basically project some kind of field around you to prevent physical moving you against your will back 1 light year.
I got a 1 and a 6.
Okay, so that's 2 successes or 3 successes, and then we'll wait for... Did you roll twice, Josie? Or is that for a previous one?
That was a previous roll.
Okay, so that's 3 successes, that's 4 successes, and the difficulty was 3. So that gives you a momentum. The difficulty was 3 for the... Also, let me... Before I handle the engineering stuff, let me roll for the computer for the science stuff. Or does someone else want to do that? Someone that's not doing engineering and science stuff. So anyone in command or security can do that. Just roll computers. Let's see. Yeah, computers.
I'll let Corvinus. I'll let Corvinus do it.
Yeah, if she wants to, she can roll.
I can roll. I can roll for what?
It'll be computer in the ship, computers and science. And then because you're using computers, if you get a 0 or a complication, you can re-roll it, and it will be 1 dice for 1d20 because it's assisting. Alright, and now the engineering thing is difficulty 3, control or insight engineering. I will have also roll, well, I'll wait for you to roll that. I don't want to give you too many things at once because my brain will explode if that happens to me.
Look for, yeah, I'm just trying to.
Yeah, the ships is like the 4th folder from the bottom, or 5th folder, something like that.
Computers and what now?
Computers and science.
Alright, cool.
Alright, so I've already forgotten 4. Does that put you guys at 5 successes? I think it does. So
yes.
Alright, so +2 momentum, so you guys are up to 5 momentum. Keep track of that. And now for the engineering, can you roll for the ship control or computers and engineering? and then again, if it rolls a 0, then you can re-roll it.
Could you repeat that?
For the ship, it's computers and engineering. 1 dice with a focus on, and if you roll a 0, you can re-roll it. You know what's funny? I have the deflector in my notes, and y'all just thought of it. I think it was Neelan who thought of it.
Yeah.
So that's good. Great minds and all. Okay. So you have 3 successes, so you have succeeded in that. However, you guys have a complication. Car, do you want to spend 1 momentum to re-roll it, or do you want to spend 2 momentum to get rid of it?
I'd rather just get rid of it.
Okay, so you're back down
since
to
we
3.
have 5 momentum.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we got the moment.
All right, so now you have everything necessary. You guys have arrived at this structure. I keep wanting to say something else, but you have arrived at this structure, this giant wall that's just sitting there. It's not moving. If you want, we can just say that you have already got the deflector bubble around you, and everyone's wearing neurostimulants. That's on the ship, so that's 350 neurostimulants that were replicated. And then just Commander Zed, what are your orders? Oh, and one more thing. Does anybody want to take care of... So, for this whole time, by the way, Lieutenant Carr, your implant has been buzzing and basically doing that sound, like replaying it in a very distorted way, like this whole time. So does anybody want to kind of try to fix that, or are you just going to suffer through it?
Are you going to tell any of us?
So it's actually something that's more annoying, like he's not just tuned it out at this point?
Yeah, but you can't hear
Actually, no, you said it sounds different now.
Yeah, and you can't really hear out of that ear while it's doing that.
So he can't hear out of either of his ears then?
Oh, that's for both ears?
That are in.
Yeah, it's pretty much... We'll
so
say
probably someone's going to know something's wrong because suddenly Carr can't hear anybody.
Yeah, we'll say that it was a gradual decline in his hearing, so that it makes sense why you were able to handle the deflector. But yeah, so at this point now it's got to the point where it's like bees buzzing in your ear, both ears.
If when I orders, and if he doesn't actually hear him, then he's gonna go over it and actually figure out what the heck is going on with him.
Okay.
That's probably what is going to happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get back to the bridge in one piece, but
yeah.
So there'll be control engineering.
Oh, you're just physically like getting in his ear with a spanner? Is that what you're doing?
That would be contested, I feel.
Yeah, I think you should have a conversation with him first.
Insight?
Sure, insight engineering.
Engineering?
But all you know right now is that he hasn't responded to normal speaking.
I'm doing a scan.
Oh, you're doing then reason, but I feel like he would just go to sickbay or somewhere to have it done, but maybe not. I don't know. Some people are just like completely against having anything done to their bodies, even if it makes sense. Did you roll? Oh, there it is.
Insight engineering. Yeah.
Yeah, and give you guys another momentum. So yeah, you're detecting that the implants are just horribly going, like they're just not working. Like if it wasn't for the sound, he could probably hear, but it's basically like there's something wrong with them physically on the inside. So yeah, that's what your character finds out.
Basically, he get a hold of sickbay to send somebody up to take Lieutenant Carl down to sickbay to get him fixed.
The surgeon gets up. The ship surgeon gets up and walks over and says, "I'll take him." And she goes over to Lieutenant Carr and says, "Having problems, not feeling well."
Card just taps at his ear and shakes his head.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, well, we might need to get an engineer as well. And then she'll glance over to the ops station. Ensign Sampson, would you like to assist?
Sure. And he heads to join them.
Okay. So the three of you are heading to sickbay. Is there anything that you do on the way there that's out besides just go there to get your ears checked out, or like do you try to escape? Do you try to get a coffee? Like, do you do anything besides go straight to sickbay?
No, that can all wait.
Okay, so you get to sickbay, and she just the surgeon takes out a tricorder. Starts. Is she the surgeon? Yeah, she's a surgeon. I believe it's Lieutenant Wren. She scans you, and she says, "Interesting. These implants, as far as I can tell, just from the scan, should be working perfectly fine with the rest of your body. They're just not." And she looks over to Ensign Sampson. She's like, she says, because she's using a medical tricorder at the moment, but she says maybe if you fine tune your tricorder from an engineering perspective, we'll be able to figure out more about it.
Understood.
All right, so roll.
And I was gonna say, since he specializes in cybernetics, he'll probably configure the tricorder for cybernetics.
Nice. So roll reason or insight, either one, since you're configuring the tricorder, and engineering, difficulty 1.
And I'm using my cybernetics focus.
No problem. Nice. So you guys get another momentum. Yeah. So the engineering aspect of it, the mechanics seem to be working relatively well. However, these implants are, and I mean, out of character, I don't know shit about them, but so I'm just making shit up as I go. But in character, these implants just, it's kind of a pop in, attach it to the right parts of your body and then it works. However, there is something within the implants that you feel like you've seen before, but you can't put your finger on immediately until you remember, as your tricorder is telling you, that there is some sort of variant of a plasma, a minute amount of plasma within both implants. A little bit more in one of them, but definitely in both. And then you remember this seems very, very close to the plasma parasite that you discovered aboard the USS Patriot.
According to these readings, there appears to be. What did you say the parasites were called? I'm sorry.
It's
plasma
just
parasites?
a plasma-based parasite. It basically transfers from plasma to plasma, systems to systems, etc.
According to these readings, his implants are infected with a plasma-based parasite.
The surgeon is just kind of looking at you, astonished. The only thing she knows from the mission aboard the USS Patriot is the medical records and the reports, and so she knows that there was a plasma parasite there, but she wasn't there, so she doesn't know how pervasive it can be. So she just says, "Well, I suppose we can just inoculate you with something that we'll clearly have to design, because I've never dealt with a plasma-based parasite before, but I'm sure we can deal with it relatively quickly." And she turns away towards her computer to kind of try to do that, try to do research and etc. Is there anything else that you guys want to do in sickbay real quick before we jump back to the bridge?
I would ask him if he wants the implants deactivated until we fix the problem, so he doesn't have to listen to the meep.
You might need to show that on a data pad, assuming that.
I would write it on a data pad. Do you want the implants turned off until we fix this?
Yeah, go ahead and he'll nod.
Do I have to roll for that, or can I just do it?
Nah,
Probably Car knows how to do it.
Yeah, it's super simple. Plug and play, essentially. But
and then I'd say, Doctor, I deactivated the implant so that poor person doesn't have endless ringing in their ears.
Very well. I will be finished with this research shortly, and then we're going to jump to the bridge. We didn't move from the bridge, but you know what I mean. All right, so what are you guys doing? You've approached this rock wall. Nothing has happened. You've been here. You don't seem to have any effects. That you clearly haven't been transported back or have your memories tampered with. So what do you want to do?
He then goes, okay, something is clearly wrong with this. We need to figure out what it is.
Captain, might I suggest that we get a level 4 probe, launch it close to there, but not like it's gonna be attacking it or something.
Good idea. Do it.
All right.
Attacking what?
What was that?
Attacking what? Like, we don't remember any of this.
Yeah, you just have the sensor data, which just tells you it's a rock wall.
Basically, shooting a probe that doesn't look like it's attacking it. It's just going to sit more closer to the surface to do more in-depth scans.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm assuming that they're assuming that they think that there's something living either near it, outside of it, or inside of it. So that's what I'm assuming. But
yes.
Okay. So all right. So that'll be a control and science difficulty 1. And this will also give you any additional information. And keep in mind, Neelan, since you're sitting at the main science console, you may roll, or you may ask a free question. But yeah, go ahead and roll that. And then, who wants to roll for the ship?
I got a 6 and a 1.
All right, 3 successes. Anyone rolling for the ship? Anyone assisting? Anything like that? Oh wow, Josie rolled 4 successes. Although, I mean, I'll take it. I don't mind.
Sorry, I didn't know which science officer or science person you were talking to, so I assumed you meant me.
That's my fault. I assumed that it's the main science officer, but I definitely should have made that more clear. So, but I'm taking both.
No. Rules are written.
Oh, that you don't know me very well if you think I go by rules as written. But either way, you definitely succeeded. And you got
Just say we got both probes down there, 2 probes down there scanning it.
I mean, that's fine. I don't care.
I guess you've never heard him say, "We're just doing this for now."
Until we figure it out, yeah. But yeah, I mean, if you have 2 probes out there, it's going to reduce the difficulty to 0. So, you're pretty much going to have, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 momentum, and nobody's rolling for the ship. That's fine if you're not. Probably don't need it. 7 momentum plus. Sorry, what was that?
So my question is this: do the probes detect any weapons?
No, none whatsoever. But you have, let's see, 7. So it's 4 plus 4. So you have 3 bonus moment. So you have 8 momentum. This is why I asked you all to do it. 3 bonus momentum. All right. So you have 3 bonus momentum. You can use those 3 bonus momentum to obtain information, to create an advantage, to add dice, do whatever. So just keep that in mind. And if anything comes up, just yell at me.
Well, I do have a question, but I don't know if a lieutenant would know it.
I mean, are you asking in character or out of character?
In character? Maybe the wall isn't the problem. Maybe, like, there's someone else here, and they have some sort of weapon that affects her memory.
Possible.
That is why the probes are.
Yeah.
That is why the probes out.
Well, as far as the information that the probes gather, it doesn't gather a whole lot more from what you already know. However, you are detecting. So, like I said before, big rock wall, completely one piece. You are detecting a crack about 6 inches long and less than a millimeter wide along a part of this structure. It wasn't, as far as your sensors were concerned, from when you came here twice before and then were sent back, this crack was not here before. I don't know who's the squirrel, but what else are you doing? Any further orders, Commander Zed?
Okay. He really wants to know, get a team down onto the rock face.
Okay, I didn't think of that one. You got me. All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
He goes, well, we're gonna have to get down onto the rock face itself if either. Yeah.
All right.
Just to investigate it a bit more, and plus investigate that damn crack, because that wasn't there before.
So is it who's going on this away team mission, basically?
Pat got spacewalk.
Basically, he's gonna go, okay, science, and we don't have any. He's gonna go, we're gonna include security onto this as well. As we always need a security officer to go down. An engineering team, engineer.
Alright, so I'm gonna move you guys to the picture of the rock wall, and I'm just gonna start pulling. So the science officer, since Neelan, I think, has to leave soon, do you just want to send Lieutenant Peck?
Yep.
Okay. And then for the security, are you sending Lieutenant Zukov or a red shirt?
Zukov.
Okay. And the engineer, since Carr is incapacitated, it can be ops officer Ensign Sampson or a red shirt, an NPC. Well, he's kind of preoccupied though. He's kind of helping fix her or his implants. But it's up to you. He can go do that and then have someone else help finish fixing it. It's up to you.
Samsung goes down there because he'll probably be useful down there as well. Okay. We'll assign somebody else to Carl.
Alright. Is there anybody else that you want to send? I'm just looking at the list. I think that's all you can send as far as player characters.
Yeah.
Is that it? You're just sending 3 people?
Alright, when I get called away, I'll go to the patient and mouth in front of their face so they can see I have to go. Good luck.
Yeah. He's probably Commander Zed has to stay on the bridge,
right?
So he can't go down. He'll probably send. Recommend another. Yeah.
I was just gonna say the only other role that makes sense is medical, but that's up to you.
Yeah.
I mean, a science officer can do it just almost as well, so it's up to you. You might want to keep it small. You might not. I don't know. I don't know what you're thinking, so it's up to you.
He's gonna send down a medical person.
All right. Does it matter who, or do you want to pick, or?
It doesn't matter who.
Alright, I'm just gonna send... Where's the xenobiologist?
Yeah.
I don't even. Oh, I think it was the Beetlejuicean. Yeah. So I'll send a Beetlejuicean / Denobulan. Alright. Is that it? Just those 4?
Yeah,
Yes.
I can't.
Okay. So you guys, I'm assuming, are going to take EVA suits, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, because you would
I mean,
it
makes no sense to just go completely bare.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to specify that he also made hand gestures. It's not like he would have just mouthed without any other indication whatsoever.
The thing is, like, he only knows, like, 21st century meme gestures, so he's just dabbing.
Okay. Alright, so you guys get to the transporter room. The transporter operator kind of does his thing, targeting lock. You guys are in your helmets and your whole getup, and he is going to transport you down. It's not going to be a roll because the transport itself is just going to work. But you get to the surface. This thing is huge. Definitely looks bigger in person, so to speak. But you get there, and what are you guys doing? What do you want to do?
Can I test the gravity?
Yeah, there is none. It's like less than the moon.
So I'm just gonna suggest to the captain or superior officer, you might want to turn on your magnetic boots.
Yeah. I probably shouldn't have, but I did assume that you guys did that as soon as you got there. My bad. Anything else?
Yeah.
Just take out my tricorder and start scanning for life.
Okay. Well, that's going to be reason and science or medicine. Difficulty is going to be 5. And I am going to assist with the medical guy.
Is there some way for me to assist by trying to triangulate potential threats upon this rock as well?
Yeah, insight security, difficulty 1.
Got it.
It's a different role because it's really a different thing that you're doing.
Got it.
Right, so I'm gonna steal 2 momentum. Do we still have the same?
Yeah, you guys have 3 bonus momentum if you want to use it. Zukov, you look around, you scan, you don't pick up any other life forms around you. Oh, wow! That's amazing. That's impressive how many zeros are in that roll.
Holy shit.
What did I roll that?
What was that? What was that, Josie?
I even have cautious, so I'm like, maybe I can salvage it. And no.
Ooh.
God said
Wow.
no. The mysteries of the universe shall forever be barred from you.
Oh.
Yes.
In shame and obscurity.
Yeah, it's like you guys are literally just walking on the surface of the moon, scanning, and it's just like dust, dust, rock, 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 dust, rock, rock. Like that's literally all you're picking up. We'll jump back real quick to the bridge. Are you guys doing anything?
He'll probably be watching through the head cams of the team. He's probably making sure he has open communication with the team.
Okay. Fair enough. Anything else?
He's probably listening to the whole conversations down there.
Yeah, I get
You
that.
would say,
I mean, is there anything that you want to do from the bridge of your ship that you have a massive technological wonder at your hands? Is there anything that you want to do?
He goes, what else do we know? Anything else about this crack that just formed?
Are you asking your science officer?
Yeah.
Keep in mind, you have no other player characters with you, so you have to specify who you're talking to. Alright, so Ensign Hadran Ayel, the relief science officer, after Neelan goes for his drink with Vamar, the Aurelian turns and says, I'm running my scan now, sir. And then he looks back and says, The crack has expanded to 2 feet long and half an inch wide, and additional cracks are starting to appear. However, our sensors are still unable to penetrate its structure.
Okay, weird. And he tells the team, the crack's getting bigger. Can you make a move on to have a closer look at the crack, please?
All right, so we'll just
It's
say
at 2 feet.
Yeah, we'll just say you guys find a crack, even though it's a massive structure, and that's, And in fact, what are you guys at momentum-wise? Yeah, spend that bonus momentum, and we'll say that you find a crack. And then you can go ahead with your tricorder, roll another Reason and Science, difficulty 4, because you found a crack. But you know what? I have so much of threat, I'm just going to make the complication range 5.
Alright, for spite then, I'm gonna use a value.
There you go.
Most curious.
Indeed.
And, take a momentum. And you said this was Reason Science?
Yes. And don't forget, if you have any focuses, I'm going to say that yes, you do, but I can't tell you which of those focuses because it would give it away. Alright, so you got 3 successes. I'm going to roll for Mr. Callan, Ensign Callan. The, 4. Look at that. As soon as this...
Actually...
Sorry, go ahead.
It's got extra 2, remember?
Sorry. Oh,
determination.
Okay. So 4 or 5, 6. So that brings you up to 8 momentum and 1 bonus momentum. So hold on, let me check something real quick. But you are able to actually detect life. So for oh yeah, that's just a bot. But you are able to detect life. However, you suddenly, because you're not protected by the deflectional field around the ship, you see a fade as everything blurs. Everyone who is on this structure. You see this, your vision starts to blur, everything starts to fade, the stars around you and the sun, which is like right next door to you, begins to get brighter, and you are 1 light year away, floating in space. However, your memories are intact. I'm going to say because
you just see...
Sorry, go ahead.
So Peck just kind of slams her fist against a console. Damn it!
Oh no, not a console. You're in space. The ship is still where it needs to be. You're a light year away, floating in space. All 3 of you. No, 4.
Also, damn it!
And I will say, because it makes sense, that the tricorder data was immediately relayed to the ship. Oh, let me... Yeah. Oops, wrong one. And
so, we're all just floating in space?
For the moment. You guys...
You were wearing EV suits, though, so I don't think you're, like, dead in space.
On the bridge, you guys get the data, and as the data comes in, and Aurelian science officer looks over and says, "Sir, it appears..." And then as he begins to say that, the rock wall in front of you begins to crack even more until the cracks begin to expand to kilometers in length, and the massive rock wall begins to kind of crumble away from this massive eel that begins to fluctuate and phase in and out of reality. It's glowing blue. It begins to worm its way out of this debris and towards the sun. And before everybody on the bridge, you guys begin to see that same kind of blur, but you guys don't go anywhere because you're protected. And as this thing approaches the sun, it basically begins to phase out of your reality and into subspace. And the science officer that's at the console looks over and says, "That was a subspace life form, sir. It appears it has just reached maturity."
So whenever we come across that type of... we might as well pick up our crew and take the data back to Starfleet.
And the Legion appears and says, "That is a good idea, Commander Zed." And your dad looks over to you and says, "To think that we thought it was something nefarious, and all along it was the defense mechanism of a creature from another realm." He just shakes his head.
Yep. In future reference, we're gonna log that as a unknown species.
And
random number. He's gonna rattle off some random numbers.
Yep. And then the AI will say, "It is known now," and then he disappears. And I think it would be funny if the last scene is of the three individuals in space, probably wrong space, but yeah, that are floating, just get beamed back to their ship as the Legion kind of flies off.
I wanted to say something while we were floating out there.
Say it then.
Well, who has a deck of cards?
As far as the Lieutenant Carr and his issue with his implants, the Lieutenant Wren, the ship surgeon, as well as some random, probably Garn, or whatever his name was, that Tellarite cybernetics expert, turns to you. Oh, hold on, I gotta. Space. Turns to you and says, she says to Lieutenant Carr, "Well, it looks like your implants were infected and we are able to clear them out. However, there seems to be another issue. Your implants somehow were connected through some kind of strange quantum physics to some other piece of cybernetic equipment that's nowhere near us, and that's what's causing some of the feedback, besides the plasma life form. So somewhere out there is another cybernetic individual that pretty much has your number. I don't know what that means, but they're definitely going to use this to their advantage."
Hello?
Yeah, I saw it light up. I didn't hear anything. Probably mic issues.
Rabel?
Carr is just going to...
Just thinking.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I know what I'm going to say. Now I don't. He'll probably mutter, "Great."
Okay.
He's probably thinking, maybe I need to go get some... Maybe I'm going to need some new implants. But that'll have to be resolved another day when we're not on... in some random area of space.
You're always going to be in some random area of space. Well, except for in between games where you're on a star base. We could say by the time January rolls around, you'll probably have new implants. So.
Probably.
And also, yeah, funny. Also, do you want to keep these ear implants for like experimentation to see what's going on with them, to see what this other cybernetic individual like, or do you want to get rid of them as far away from you as possible? Either way, I understand.
I mean, I think that he would like to have them to try and... Because he likes troubleshooting things and diagnosing issues, so he's still kind of like, I thought my ears were fine, but it sounds like they're not as... Well, no pun intended, it sounds like they're not as fine anymore. But the thing is if a security chief came by and was like, "This is a security issue. You cannot hold on to these." He's not gonna fight that kind of an order.
It's weird because the connection it could be. I mean, I'm assuming you know which one it would be connected to, right? Like, I don't have to spell it out, or do I? Let me know, because I don't want to spoil anything if nobody knows. Anybody? Specifically, Master Creeple?
I don't know.
I don't know off the top of my head, but we can discuss it in private messages if you're not wanting to spoil things.
Well, I also want to make the decision of whether or not you're going to keep them now, because when I write for 2 months from now, I want to have that in my repertoire so that I know I can use it. So I will say,
because I don't know. I had a log written where he still had his old ears and they were still acting up, but it sounds like we've fixed it in this episode effectively.
Well, he doesn't have any
ears
right now.
It sounds like the best solution is just it sounds like the best solution is just to get some new implants. And then it's no longer, there's no more voices in his head. Well, not voices, but random sounds in his head.
Yes, thank you for that idea. Now I'm gonna do that. No, I'm already doing that with Zed. Yeah, that's totally doable. You can do that. You could just chuck them and there's somebody else's problem, and then you get new implants.
Probably the smartest. As I'm sitting, probably a smart thing to do is hand it over to someone in Starfleet Intelligence, and then, if it's harmless, whatever, it's their time that's being used up.
Exactly.
But if it's something if it's like a security risk, then it probably is better to have.
Y'all used to have an intelligence officer. Mac got him killed. But anyway, so since you're giving them up, I'll just tell you that the Night Stalker from the Patriot that was killing everyone, most likely it's connected to him because he's the one that reversed time the first time. So he would have been the one that kind of somehow.
I couldn't remember his name.
Yeah, well, somehow got a plasma parasite into it. Probably unintentional. Based on the fact that you have cybernetic ears, so to speak. So it's not like he was prepared for that. He was prepared to infect the android of Uhura, kill her, and then kill other individuals. Wasn't really preparing for someone with ear implants on the other side of a bulkhead. So probably just some after effect of that little incident. But still, most likely he would know like what's going on as far as like, oh, somebody has implants that are connected to me. I'm gonna track them down and murder them. So probably a good idea to get rid of it. That is it. I did have a whole other subplot about the Marines, but we will do that in a month or two because that's a whole other episode basically.
Oh, if we do make it back to the location of the other ship, we hand over